still will.
What you mean?
You real sensitive when people go at LeBron.
Oh, so I will say this, and then we're gonna move on because we go into the NBA.
I'm trying to seg into the next.
Yeah. We say it's segging quite nicely to the NBA because that's where we're going next anyway. Here's what I will not stand for. I will not stand for people claiming nepotism against LeBron while he is on the team that is the poster child for nepotism in pro sports. It kills me to no end, and I'm gonna say this, and I want everybody to know this has no racial undertone. But when black folk have a tendency to put other black folk in a box like that, I can't stand it. Like it really does bother me a bit because there is, I mean, again, Jerry Buss died. He gave the franchise to his children. Mm-hmm. I have no issues with that. Who else is he going to give it to? But I didn't hear anybody screaming, well, they didn't give somebody a chance. Like, get out of here, man. Like, but now that's what they're saying about Bronny. And it's like, listen, First off, Bronny James is LeBron James' son, which means a couple of things. One of them is he has access to resources that these other kids that you claim are getting opportunities taken from them, they don't have. So that's number one. Number two, we're looking at his skill set realistically. LeBron James Jr. would not have come out of USC last year. That's not a possibility if he's a normal kid. He's probably staying in college. He's probably a D-League walk-on, most likely, if we're being real, if he comes out his second year. We don't know how he'll build third or fourth year, so we can't say. So it was clear this was a money grab. This was an opportunity for the Lakers to be able to say we're the first franchise to have a father and son play on the same team, on the same court, at the same time in the history of the league. It was about them making history. LeBron James is a billionaire. It's not about money for him. It was about him taking the opportunity to leverage his own status to get his own son on the team so he could feel good about whatever that did for him. And I'm okay with it because owners throughout the NFL and NBA do it all the time. When Jerry Jones died, the next person to take up is Stephen Jones. It's not going to be Mike Tomlin. It's not going to be Raheem Morris. It's not going to be anybody you can name that would probably be better at owning that team. It's going to be Stephen Jones, and nobody's going to bat an eye until one of us do it. And then it will be us that will complain about it.
Yeah, and that was my problem when people used to cry. And I'm like, look at it. First of all, we in capitalistic America, right? So that's the first problem. The second problem is to your point. Is to your point. Everybody does it across all corporate structures.
Yeah.
Nepotism. Now, because this young man does it, now y'all want to be, it should be fair. Okay, you novices. Okay, you tell me when they haven't taken advantage in putting people in the front office or in coaching positions where we know there were others that are more qualified. Exactly. Let's stop this. So, he taking a spot from somebody. If somebody's that good that they could have had that spot, they're either going to be in the G League or they're going to sign large overseas contracts. If they're that good. Yeah. Like, that could go to somebody else who's, okay, they chose not to. Stop that. But there are people in this world that believe that certain people shouldn't have certain privileges. And that's just the dynamic of it. But we're not going to get on that because that's not what we were actually segueing into. But it's a great subject.
It's not, but it is a subject that grinds my gears, dog. Because I swear, it's
mine too.
It's really, like you said. So it's kind of like, as you were saying, and I thought about it. My first job I worked with my uncle. Basically, nepotism.
Mhm.
My first real full-time job where taxes were taken out regularly. My grandma got me a job at Comey. Also nepotism. They only hired me because my grandma referred me in there. It happens more regularly than we would like to admit. So I'm not a fan of making this young man who is talented, by the way. Bronny James is talented because he has access to resources that other people don't have. That helped him get that talented. I really don't like it because they try to shade his talent from him. And the kid's actually talented. The kid was going to be
doing well in
at
the
his exactly. He was going to be in the NBA or G League at some point, regardless of whose son he was. But because he just happens to be the GOAT son. Oh, GOAT James is Shannon like to call him, Shannon Sharp. Shout out to Shannon Sharp. Oh, GOAT James. But because he's GOAT James' son, look, I know I'm getting ready to make people mad with that statement. Because he's old GOAT James' son, he has access to things that these other kids just don't have access to. Dalton Connect was picked up before him. Dalton Connect is still playing for the Lakers. So if he had taken Dalton Connect's spot, maybe y'all would have a complaint.
Yeah.
But the person who y'all are claiming he took his spot is either, like you just said, he's either in the G League right now or he has a high contract overseas. Nobody else's spot was taken. Anybody else you start naming was not going to get that spot over Bronny James, even if he wasn't LeBron James' son. So y'all can kill that. Like that's as far as I go with it. Like but you and McKee know this. I spent time in sports media, so I'm super sensitive about it because I watch how people start the hype machine, and as soon as it ain't going the way that they said it was, they start the sledgehammer machine is what I call it. They build it up to a certain spot, and when it start looking like it ain't, and I'm talking about, I watch grown people do this to kids in high school. As soon as that hype don't get to where they want it to be, they take the sledgehammer and start tearing that thing down every which way that they can. And nobody ever understands that they're doing it to a kid. And it happens to professionals too, but I'm always sensitive about it because these kids, they when they get to college, they're still kids. Like, we still talking about 18, 19, 20-year-olds when they're in college, and they're getting treated like they're the ones that hype themselves up. And now we decided to believe it. No, that was media, that was pundits, that was everybody else that said what they said. Now that they could be wrong, or just throwing this out there. In some cases, the kids hear it and it just becomes a bit too much for them, and they're having to deal with all the issues and the anxieties of trying to live up to whatever spotlight was shined upon them sometimes. And that's the human element that makes these games interesting anyway. So sometimes we just need to chill on it and let these kids and men, young men and young women do what they do. Caitlin Clark did a masterful job of being able to handle all that pressure. Juju what's Juju's last name? I forgot her last name. Juju Watkins is probably going to be the greatest women's basketball player of all time.
Slow down, B. Okay, now.
Probably.
Okay, don't start that.
Let me say it this way, because you
once you get to that WNBA level and
you know what? Let me slow down and say it this way.
Because that's what got a lot of heat on Caitlin, because people were projecting her there. You do that, you set Juju up.
I know you're right, and I just spoke against that, by the way, and then I turned around and did it. But with that being said, which is insane, Here's the only difference between me and and other folks. I won't say everybody else, but here's the difference between me and other folks. I won't knock Juju down if she's not. Like, you know what I mean? Like I won't take a sledgehammer to it. I'll just say I'm wrong. I predicted wrong. That's accountability.
I too think she'll be one of the best.
I mean, goodness gracious. Like how good she is from a skill standpoint, and then she's just that athletic. It's just like, I don't know what y'all gonna do. She's the WNBA version of Kobe Bryant coming, I believe.
Okay.
This might be the closest thing to Kobe from the WNBA in women's sports, because she is dubbed nice for real.